because Mama had to drive to they had to drive to the city, to the hospital. So my brother got from work, and he picked my mother up. And okay, so I talked to Mama in the car. No, I called her back on the phone before she got in the car, and I said, "Mama, you up? Somebody gonna have to help me." That's what she said, and I said, "Okay." So when she said that, I knew something went right. But you know, hindsight is always 2020. So anyway, so Mama gets in the car, and I talked to Mama in the car, and I said, Mama, when you get there, make sure you tell them about the sore you have on your bottom. She had started breaking out on her bottom. Sorry, TMI. And could have been antibiotics or something that she was taking or whatever. Could have been a sign of something, going wrong. And the main thing when you are on chemo, Mama was on the chemo pill, and the main thing is to not get an infection, because it can kill you, because you because you don't have an immune system. I mean, she was taking chemo. She was taking the pills, so it wipes out your immune system. So she had to wear a mask and take antiviral medication, and a simple cold could wipe her out. So anyway, so I'm on the phone with Mama, and I'm saying, "Mama, you all right?" And she said, "I'm all right." And I said, "Okay, well, when you get up there, you let them know about your sore on your bottom." I said, "Let them know about you having a fever." And what else did I tell her? I don't know what else I told her. And she said, "Okay." Now, mind you, if I didn't have my kids, and if I had reliable transportation, my Lincoln is in the shop. So, and Kenneth was at work with the other car. So, listen, if I had my car, I wouldn't even have been talking to her on no telephone. I'd have been got my mama, because I didn't play no type of games with mine, you know. So, my brother takes her to get to the doctor. So they take her blood work, which is something that they do. They take her blood work, and then they run it to see, what the numbers look like and everything like that. So I called my brother while she was there, and some point in time they took her to a private room so that they could look at the sore that she had to show them on her bottom. I hadn't seen it. I didn't know what it looked like. I don't know if anybody else had seen it, but one thing that my aunt told me, that we went out to eat, and then she went to her sister's house, and my aunt was like, "I know you got to go to the bathroom. Why haven't you gone to the bathroom in all this time we've been together?" And my mom was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." So Mama went to the bathroom. Whether she went to the bathroom or not, we don't know. Had she stopped being able to use the bathroom, we don't know. But we do know that whatever she told them behind closed doors with none of her kids around, immediately they admitted her to the hospital, and things just went downhill from there. I mean, they admitted her into the hospital. They had, this made me so sad. They had spent hours trying to find a vein for an IV. She was severely dehydrated. And and they couldn't find the vein. So she was severely dehydrated, and that was another thing that was. So they had to put another PICC line in her arm, so that they can get her fluids and stuff. So they finally got my brother. They finally got her in a room at 8 o'clock. Okay, so the next morning when I called at 9, she was in the ICU. She was in ICU, and I'm like, nobody even called us to tell us that she was in ICU, just overnight. Like, really? And so once once I found out she was in ICU, it was over with. Like, I called my brother and was like, why didn't nobody, then why we didn't know she was in ICU and all this. And so finally, so Kenneth comes home the next, um, this is Tuesday. Okay. So Tuesday, I went up and let's see, I went up. Seemed like somebody was there when I came. I'm not sure. Oh no, nobody was there because nobody knew she was in ICU. And so once I found out she was in ICU, I was the first one up there. So I went in and sorry. So I went in. Oh gosh. And she was just laying there. And so when I went in there, uh, I immediately went to her bed and I said, Mama, Mama. I said, Mama. And she looked up and she knew who I was. And I said, hey. And she said, hey. And so I said, how you doing? And she said, I'm doing pretty good. And so she was like in and out, like, like she was going in and out. She was sleepy, but she was awake, sleepy, but she was awake. And so I said, Mama, have you ate yet? And she said, no, I'm hungry. I could eat something right now. I said, well, what can she have? Can she have ice or water? And the lady was like, no, we can't give her anything right now. But we will once she start coming out of the medicine or something, like once the medicine wears off. And so I was like, because I know my mama like to eat. So anyway, so I called my siblings and let them know I'm there with her and she's doing pretty good. She's talking and they're gonna feed her soon or whatever. And then the lady told me, the nurse was like, well, what did they say? They saw a spot. And so when Mama was going to I forgot to say, when she was going to the hospital, I told Mama, she was saying she felt a catch in her ribs. And I told Mama, well, you make sure you tell them that when you go in. And so the lady said that they saw a little something on her x-ray. So they did some kind of some test. And that's why Mama was still kind of sedated. Some kind of test for her lungs. And so I said, okay. So they were waiting on that to come back. So I'm sitting there and sitting with Mama, just sitting there, just rubbing her hands or, talking to her and everything. And Mama she's trying to get out of the bed, right? And she trying to wait. I got a video. I need to put that up in here. She's trying to snatch her oxygen off. And I said, Mama, I think you're supposed to leave that on. You sleeping? They got you hooked up real good. You remember Tonio bringing you in yesterday? You remember Tonio bringing you?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Yeah. Big, busy.
Huh? Help you what, Mama?
Tony go.
Yep. He brought you on in so they can take care of you. You feel all right? You feel all right? Where you going? Hmm? Mama, where you going, baby?
Oh,
You just turning over.
just turn it on.
Bless your heart. You trying to see where you are? You know where you are?
Mm-hmm.
Where? Where you at?
Northside
All right, then. All right, you better snap back, girl. Honey, we got too much going on in the land of the living. Later on for the sleep. You sleep later. Is that tight around your neck?
I got to go.
Mama, you can't take that stuff off of you. Mama, I think you got to keep that on. Let me wipe your face, yeah. And so anyway, so then a lady walks in and starts talking to me as if she knows me, and I don't even know who she is. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And so she takes me out in the hallway, and so she say, I'm gonna give you a big picture. Y'all, I can't talk about this much more, so I'm gonna cut it off right here and just start something. I'm just gonna start right here the next time. But she say, let me give you a big picture. She said the test results came back for your mother, and we're not gonna be able to fix it this time. And I'm sitting there like, she said, your mother she's not going to make it. She said she will not leave the hospital this time. She will not. And I'm sitting here like, really, you telling me this and I'm here by myself? You couldn't wait for somebody else to come? And I'm just sitting there stuck like, really? And then I sit down. And then I get on the telephone and I call my aunts and I just break down and say, y'all, come on. Just come on, is what I say. And I'm crying like, you know. Then I call my brother and whatever. And then the lady say, well, I'm glad I know you. No, she gets on the phone with my brother and say, yeah, I was just telling Sylvia. I said, my name is not Sylvia. I don't know you and you don't know me. And she began to say, well, I just think that the best thing is to just let her go peacefully. I said, first of all that will be decided when all my siblings get here. Now, little did I know that they were going to make a decision without me. They didn't care enough about me to wait till I got there for another important decision later on. But me, being the dummy, the nice one who they run over and think that I'm slow, you know, I decide not to make any decisions about my mother until everybody's involved. I mean, I could have just said right then and there, being my mother's daughter, okay, Just unplug everything and just let her go, you know, and could have just let it be that way. And I felt like later on, that's what they did to me. Me showing up at the hospital later, you know, I had to go home for my kids. I'm showing up at the hospital later, and they done already darn near killed my mama, sent her to hospice, you know. But anyway, that's another story. So she tells me alone that my mother's not gonna make it, they can't fix it. And what she said was, being that my mother didn't have an immune system, she had pneumonia in both of her lungs. Not just one, wasn't one little spore of pneumonia, it was spores of pneumonia in both of her lungs, like tree limbs of pneumonia in her lungs. And for a normal person, pneumonia is hard to fight and to beat. But in a person who, a cancer person who does not have an immune system, my mother's immune system was like a newborn baby. Had been wiped out by the chemo, so she had nothing to fight with. You know, and the thing that was the hardest for me was watching my mother try to get out of the bed, watching her talk. You know, and then another thing, her kidneys weren't working. So honestly, we don't know if she noticed while she was walking around that she couldn't pee anymore. Maybe she did and she didn't want to say anything. You know, don't know, can't talk to her now. So anyway, so that's pretty much all I can say right now. She had pneumonia in both lungs and couldn't fight it. And her kidneys weren't working. So to see the outward part of a person, and they still can talk and they still can look at you and they still look okay, but the doctor's telling you her kidney's not working, excuse me, within 24 hours her breathing is compromised. You know, she's pretty much fixing to have a breathing tube to keep breathing. That's tough. And not only that, to talk to her on the way to the hospital, you know, man, that sucks. Anyway, y'all, I gotta go now. So just stay tuned and subscribe to my other channel. Stay tuned for more stories about losing mama. Thanks for watching.